Shalom. First off, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Baharakadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of GMS who have taught us this word and teach us this word today. And I want to give a salutation unto the elect of the nation of Israel. This is the brother Yatazakba with the GMS Basket Camp. And in this lesson, what I want to get into is how those of us of the hopeful elect, the true elect amongst us, are going to be glad that they have placed faith in these words, in these prophecies and in the Lord's commandments, and repented, before the evil days came. As a matter of fact, I want to start this lesson off with a precept, Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 1, which says, "Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not." So there was a point in time when these prophecies was preached. This word was going out, and you couldn't see the things that we were saying necessarily happening as of yet. You had different things, but we're living in a time where 2nd Ezra 15 is, jumping off the page. We're living in a time where Revelation 13 is jumping off the page, where they're undeniable, and these prophecies are starting to hit people's doorstep. Society is crashing. The love of many is starting to wax cold. The evil days are coming, and it's becoming apparent. Now, it says to remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. So there was a time when to invest in this truth, it seemed silly, to live the life that we've lived in this truth of being pilgrims upon this earth, sacrificing different things, being a living sacrifice, denying the things of this world, letting go of people, disappointing people, cutting ties with the things that was holding us back from our goal of salvation. It seems silly to people. As a matter of fact, let's go to Wisdom of Solomon 5:1. Which says, let's see. Actually, let's just go to Wisdom of Solomon 5 and verse 3, which says, "And they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach. We fools accounted his life madness and his end to be without honor." So that's how we have been perceived in this world, that our life is madness, that our end is without honor. We've been laughed at, scoffed at, judged by our families, looked at as the weirdos. But those of us of the hopeful elect are going to be glad that we invested in this truth, as we did, even in the times where it seemed, where nothing was really popping off like that. Once things really do pop off, we're going to be protected. Once things really do pop off, it's going to be shown who the Lord is dealing with, because as calamities are overtaking people, as people are in the lowest state that they've ever been before, in troubles, the elect are going to be calm, collected, sober in spirit, taken care of. And the reason why that is going to be the case is because, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai is going to be on their side. There's going to be divine intervention that is going to be placed in the way of the elect. And what I mean by that is that when famine arises, when people's spirits are riled up to the point where people are going to be, murdering each other in these streets, when society collapses, the only thing that's going to deliver anybody in those times is the Lord. It's going to be who Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai decides will be delivered from those troubles. And so we have been willing to go through the different things that we went through. We've been willing to lose in this world because we understand that letting go, of these carnal pleasures reaps a spiritual benefit and reward. Let's go to all right, we're going to go to 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and verse 7. It says, "And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed shall be preserved from the said perils. and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. So for those who have been doing what they were supposed to be doing, transforming their ways, not being conformed to this world, putting forth the fruits of the Spirit, being pilgrims upon this earth, placing our treasures in heaven and not upon this earth, letting go of the things that we needed to let go of and sacrifice. We're going to be preserved from these sad perils. But it says, what? Then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments. For such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me, and they that have loathed my law while they had yet liberty, and when as yet place of repentance was opened unto them, understood not, but despised it. The 2/3 aren't going to have been, the 2/3 are those who, loathed the law while they had liberty, while things were smooth sailing, as it seemed to be, when it was, before the dangers were visible to the naked eye. The 2/3 are going to be those who thought everything was all good, and so they ignored this truth. But that whole time, the elect have been being gathered and being prepared for these days that are now here. We've been, being, spiritually, mentally, physically preparing for these days to come. But none of the preparation that we have done matters if Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai wasn't with us through it. That's really the focal point. Is the Lord with you? And in these days, it's going to be made very clear who the Lord is dealing with. Because what the scriptures say in Isaiah 33:6, it says what? Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. And that wisdom and knowledge isn't just knowing these scriptures. It's not just, hearing the prophecies, knowing how to break certain things down, knowing, it's about backing up your faith by your works. It's about putting forth the wisdom and knowledge that these scriptures teach. That is what is going to cause the elect to be stable in the times that we're coming into. Because when you go into that word stability there, let's go to Isaiah, Salaki, I got to go to it in the blue letter. That word stability is Strong's H530, which is the Hebrew word Amawan, which is firmness, fidelity, steadfastness, steadiness. Once everything is once these calamities really, come to a head, and there's troubles all around, the elect are going to be firm. The elect are going to be stable, in the midst of all these troubles. Isaiah 65 gives the parallel between how the elect versus the non-elect are going to be in that time, and it talks about how let's go to that. Isaiah 65:13. Slacking, my throat is dry. Let me get a sip of water. Isaiah 65:13, which says, therefore thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. In these days that we're coming into, it's going to take, it's like, what is going to cause one group of people to be able to rejoice and be able to be in a merry spirit and in high spirits, even though all these evils are going to be going on? It's going to be because they are going to be in good case, because the Lord is going to, have his wings around them. This in verse 14 says, behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. And the thing is, this truth is like a stock that you will have to have invested in when it wasn't appealing to do it. You had those who was investing in the stock of this world, and those who were investing in the stock of this truth. And there was a point in time where the stock of this world seemed like what you should have been pouring into, because the stock of this world was you being able to put things before this truth, put things before Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, putting your family, your career, what feels good, the pride of life, the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, those things that seemed appealing on this side. But now those things are crashing, they're crumbling. The apostle, the apostle Gabar, he was just doing a video about how this club scene, is failing. People don't want to go to the clubs no more. That spirit of mirth that people was once in, is going out the window. Depression is on an all-time high. People ain't going out like they used to. I remember I was talking to one of the brothers in the camp, and this past summer we was kind of saying like, then this summer wasn't even really jumping like that. Now you still have 2/3 that's out here, doing what they doing, but it's not like how it used to be, because people understand that, this jolly spirit that this world is able to give is going out the window. Look at this whole thing with the SNAP benefits. People ain't gonna be, feasting on Thanksgiving like they have been able to these past years. They figuring out how they gonna eat week by week. People ain't worried about no Thanksgiving. People ain't worried about no Christmas. But the thing is, when it was the time where when the evil days wasn't here yet, and we were investing in this truth despite that, and we was looking crazy, and people was like, man, what's wrong with these people? Why they not, what the scriptures say, they think it's strange that you run not to the same excess or riot, because we understood what was coming. The Lord allowed us to. So since we understand the times that's coming, since we understood that just because things ain't hot yet, that don't mean it ain't gonna get hot. Now we're going to be able to reap the spiritual benefit for getting ready before the things came. And we're going to be glad that we did that. All the times that we were mocked, scoffed against, all the L's that we took in this world, the opportunities we passed up in this world, all of them things, we're going to be glad that we did it. Because the things of this world is going to pass away. Let's go to 2 Corinthians 4 and 18, which says, while we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. So the things which are seen in this world are temporal, which means that they're temporary. They're going to be gone. The scriptures speak about in 2 Peter chapter 3 that all these things shall be dissolved. So what manner of persons ought you to be in all holy conversation and godliness? Knowing that these things were going to be dissolved, knowing that all these things that we could be investing in this world is going to be destroyed anyway, we understood what's the point of feeding into this world. And it's that very same mindset that when Esau comes and brings a solution that's going to bring some semblance of normalcy back to the people of this world, when he comes with that chip and it brings people their comforts back, when it brings a sense of, how life used to be, we're going to still be able to deny them things, because we understand that all these things is going to pass away. And so we're looking for the kingdom to come. In 1 Peter chapter 1 verse 1, there's a phrase that's used where it says that Peter was writing unto the strangers scattered. And when you get into that word strangers, it's speaking about those who basically roughly paraphrasing, let's just go to it. 1 Peter 1 and 1, which says, Peter, an apostle of Yahushua HaMashiach, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia. So it says that they were strangers scattered. And when you go into that word strangers, we're just going to get straight to the point. Strong's G3927, Parapidemos. And it says in the New Testament metaphor, in reference to heaven as the native country, one who sojourns on earth. So a stranger, like in a literal sense, is somebody who goes from one, who leaves their home country or their homeland and goes to another land and dwells there temporarily. And they're just there. They know that they're going to go back home eventually. They're just dwelling there for the time being. So with the strangers being referred to as strangers in this verse, it is the hopeful elect who understand that we are strangers upon this earth, who understand that we're just here for the time being. But eventually, we know that the kingdom of heaven is coming. We understand that that this kingdom, the kingdom of Esau, which we are currently in, is temporary. And the Lord is going to usher in a new rulership here soon. And that is where our true home is. That is where our minds truly reside, where we understand, our eternal rulership. You know, that's what we're looking forward to. We not placing our eggs in this basket. You know, we believe in Micah 2:10 when it says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. We're looking for that city where rest is allowed. You know, where truth flourishes. You know, so that's why we have been doing everything that we've been doing up to this point, why we've been making the decisions we've been making to let go of things and you know, deny the things of this world. And while it may have been hard in this time, while that benefit hasn't been reaped yet, as we, make it through the times that we're about to go through, Lord willing, I'll be of that number. As we make it through these times, and as we are, on the way to salvation, we are going to be glad that we placed our eggs in this basket. Salaki, let's go to Sirach chapter 2 and verse 10, which says, look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? The Lord is nigh unto those who seek him, but you have to seek him though. And there's been examples in the scriptures of those who, sought the Lord and the Lord was dwelling with him. Hey, think of the Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. When everybody was kneeling to that idol, they was the only ones standing. Even in the face of death, they understood that there was death that came with that. They understood that, that they would lose their life on this side for not going to the same excess of riot that everybody around them was going. But they was protected when they was thrown into the fire, when they was about to be executed. So we got to seek the Lord. And if we seek the Lord, there's a benefit that comes with it. There's a reward. And that's what we've been trying to preach to our people the whole time. We've been letting them know that this is a spiritual ark that's being built. And as this, this flood is coming out, a literal flood, but as this flood is coming the same way in Noah's time, he wasn't just building the ark. He was letting the people know that it was about to rain. And once the time came that rain started to come from heaven, then they started banging on the door of that ark. But it was too late. There was years and years of him letting the people know what was coming. There was years and years of him building that ark. And that was the time to join him and look for that protection. The same way that the spiritual ark is being built today. In verse 11, it says, for the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long-suffering and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins and saveth in time of affliction. But to experience the Lord's compassion, his mercy, his long-suffering nature, you have to repent. You have to let go. You have to what does repent mean? To turn back from our wicked way, to change, to not be conformed to this world anymore. You have to transform our minds so that we can do the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And that's when we will be forgiven. That's when we will be saved from these afflictions. So as a matter of fact, let's read on in this, because there's some good verses coming up. It says, Salaki, let me take another sip of this water. It says, woe be to fearful hearts and faint hands, and the sinner that goeth two ways. Woe unto him that is faint-hearted, for he believeth not. Therefore shall he not be defended. And that's why faith is a must. It says, without faith, it is impossible to please the Lord. So our faith has been being built up throughout all this time. It says, woe unto you that have lost patience, and what will ye do when the Lord shall visit you? The scriptures say that we have to, in patience, possess ye your souls. Because that's what this thing was all about. It was about understanding that these times is coming, and in patience, carrying ourselves in the proper fashion so that when the times came, then, that patience would have paid off. But it says, woe unto them that have lost patience, or those that didn't come to have patience in the first place. It says, and what will ye do when the Lord shall visit you? Like I said in a previous lesson, when it says that the Lord shall come like a thief in the night, the Lord is going to come like a thief in the night to those who haven't been watching, who haven't been praying, who haven't been sober-minded. For those of us who are in this truth, we know what's going on. We're watching. We're privy. We're looking for that thief. But for those who ain't looking, it's going to catch them off guard. you know. But let's go to we're gonna get one more precept. 1 Peter chapter 4 verse 12. You know, because this isn't the end. You know, it's not going to be smooth sailing into the kingdom for us. We still have more trials that we have to go through. We still have to go through the hour of temptation. There's still hardships that are coming, but we will be protected. But some of us may be put to death for this word. Some of us will be in prison for this word. But even through all that, whether alive or dead, we do it in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And for those of us who die on this side, or those of us who make it to be beamed up in a chariot, all the same, we're going to be the first fruits of the kingdom. 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 12, it says, Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial, which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you. But rejoice, inasmuch as ye are partakers of Yahweh Shai's sufferings, that when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be glad also with exceeding joy. And that's the thing. People don't want to suffer for this word's sake. You know, but the thing is, for those of us who suffer, who join in Yahweh Shai's sufferings, then we will receive glory. But all they, you know, the 2/3, all they know is this carnal world. All they know is this flesh. They don't understand the concept, or they don't want to feed into the concept of this flesh suffering for the spirit's sake. You know, they don't understand putting off for a reward down the line, because all we've been taught in this world is consume, take right now, get it right now. This truth teaches us of waiting for our reward. You know, and through faith, we're willing to wait for our reward, that even in the face of death, we understand that our reward will come after it. We understand that this ain't the end. That we are a spirit. This body that we're in, this can perish, and the Lord, it still possesses our spirit and will place us in that new body. You know, so I know I was a bit all over the place in this lesson, but Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. We're going to be glad in these times, and in the kingdom. Lord willing, I'll be of that number, and those listening, Lord willing, we be of the 144,000, the 1/3, when we're in the kingdom and we think back at all the things that we did to give diligence to make our calling and election sure. We're going to be glad that we did it, because the reward is going to be 100-fold. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Baruch HaKodesh. I'm going to give double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of GMS, and a salutation